All right, Foul Tips, the all baseball edition of the 1420 Sports Bar podcast. Game 3 post-mortem report, I guess we could say, for the Yankees loss last night at Progressive Field in Cleveland. Yankees lose 6-5 in a devastating loss, one of those ones that stick to you a little bit as a fan, and I'm sure as a player or manager or management or whoever's involved with the Yankees are kind of feeling the same way the Yankee fans are feeling this morning. Their buttholes are probably clenched a little bit as of right now, whereas we get to sit back throughout the day and worry about things and everything else. But I got my 2019 hat on today. Got big hopes, big dreams for the Yankees to pull it off tonight. But we'll get to tonight's game a little later on. The Yankees lost last night. It was a shocker. It was didn't think it was going to happen. They didn't start off with the greatest thing. IKF is struggling at shortstop still. Severino was not great. They are the Cleveland Guardians. I got it right again. The Guardians are slapped the ball around like nobody else can do in baseball. It seems they play small ball. They hit it. They move around. They run well. They do all the little things right that you learn back in Little League and American Legion and high school baseball. They don't have the power that the Yankees do, but they ended up with 15 hits last night. And the ninth inning, they did the same thing that a lot of teams seem to be doing in the playoffs right now. The Yankees aren't doing for some unknown reason. Maybe they just can't, or maybe that's just the way that they're built. But anyways, we'll get to that. Yankees losing last night. First time they've blown a lead with multiple runs in the ninth inning. 167-0 all time when holding a two run or more lead. And then all good things must come to an end. The bullpen blew it. There's no surprise there whatsoever. That this one is on Boone and the bullpen staff and bullpen management. That's the way it was handled in the ninth. Not a good look for Boone, who goes by the binder and he's told what to do. And I don't know if he's told what to do, but he's urged a certain way by the analytics guys. Severino struggled a little bit last night, but he worked his way out of some jams, especially in the first. He kind of got let down by, not kind of got let down. He did get let down by IKF last night in a couple situations. Severino, 5 2/3, 8 hits. What did he have? 6 strikeouts. Wasn't great, but he battled hard, which it was good to see. He was allowed to go 100 and some pitches last night, so that was a good to see for the Yankees going forward if they can get through tonight and move on to tomorrow. He won't see any action until the ALCS or next year is where we're sitting right now. But it was a tough go for Severino. He got through, didn't give up a bunch. He was fine. He did what he's supposed to do, and that's so you get your starter getting a little bit of length. Another inning would have been good, but he was into 50 pitches, I think, in the second inning, just because of the defensive lapses that were caused by Mr. IKF, Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, who, to his own admittance last night, was not good. And he had three chances to help the team defensively and didn't. It was not a good look for the Yankees at shortstop. That the way they've touted shortstops in their system, that they probably could be playing right now, but they hold on to their prospects so long. And I don't understand that, because that's a position that should be a position of strength in Yankee land. We had Jeter, we had Didi, and the like. But anyways, we'll get to that at a later day. Right now, the Yankees, I think their biggest problem is their home run or die mentality. It's not a good look. Other teams seem to be doing quite well. The Indians, you watch the Padres in when they won last night, they had the 5-run 7th inning, I believe it was. And just on and on they went, and it was base hit after base hit, small ball, putting the ball in play, slapping it around. And Cleveland did the same thing last night throughout the game. They hit a couple of balls deep, but the way that Cleveland can move the ball around, they were trying to bunt. They were keeping the defense guessing, playing the shifts the whole bit. And then there was that shift in the ninth that it should have been just a pop up that Kiner-Falefa was told where to play. But if he was playing where every other shortstop in the history of the game was playing up until about 5 years ago, it's a pop up. They're probably out of the inning. Anyways. But they don't, and there's analytics and the shifts and the nerds and all that stuff has taken over the game of baseball. I don't know if I like it, but that's just the way they are. It's a bad look right now if you're the Yankees, I think, and if you're Cashman and the Steinbrenners and everything else. And you got to think the Steinbrenners got to be thinking, why do we spend this much? I didn't swear. I almost did. Why do we spend this much money year in, year out when we're losing to a team that the Cleveland Indians, we have 4 players that match their entire payroll. In fact, they have 2 or 3 players that match their entire payroll of $68 million. I think that their payroll is. They got a young team. They got an exciting team. They're winning their division, and they're there. Like, they are right there. They're on the cusp of going to the ALCS against a Houston team that is quite good, that survived an 18-inning marathon yesterday with Seattle. But it's a bad look right now for Cashman and for the Yankees, and I think for Yankee fans in general, that we expect all these championships to happen because the money that gets spent. I think it's a terrible look right now with the construction and the pitching and the bullpen construction that the Yankees have at the moment, because they do go out and spend a bunch of money. Why do they have to when there's all these teams with young bullpens, young arms, young guys going out and winning a lot of ball games? And by winning a lot of ball games handily. And it's, yes, they're in a weaker division in the American League Central. I get it. Chicago White Sox had a down year. The Minnesota Twins had a down year, and they were supposed to win that division. Cleveland kind of came out of nowhere. It might be a fairy tale situation or Cinderella situation. Fairy tale, Cinderella, same thing. Cinderella never wins except for in the Disney movie. Cinderella's never win the World Series. But it's a bad look right now, in my opinion, on the Yankees, that they spend all this money, they spend huge dough, and they don't win. Yes, they're in the playoffs, and there is success to having gates in the playoffs. But right now, they've only had the 2 playoff dates at home, and it could be all done tonight. The amount of money they spend, and now the Yankee fan base is going to want to spend money on Judge, and I get it, because I think Judge needs to stick around. I wrote an article for Belly Up Sports that Judge needs the Yankees as much as Yankees need Judge. So I think that they'll come to an agreement. There was some disparaging remarks, I thought, from Cashman earlier on this week, saying that the pot of gold is there and he bet on himself. But now with Judge did hit the home run last night, it looked good for Judge. He finally got a hit. Francona had a funny line after the Judge home run when they were interviewing him in the middle of the game that said he'll pick that ball up on the way through. He hit it so far. I don't know if anybody caught that during the telecast last night, but I got a good kick out of that. But like I said, Severino, he was fine. He battled through the first, but the weak bullpen cost him. Mariano Rivera ain't walked through that gate, and there's nobody in baseball like Mariano. But the Yankees, to not have a solid plan going forward, in my eyes, just my opinion, they probably they blew it last night. They blew it. Schmidt wasn't good. Peralta was serviceable. He did what he had to do, but Schmidt was quite bad. I didn't understand why he was in there. I do not know the reasoning why he would have been in there. It makes zero sense to me. They had some guys that were healthy, ready to go. It's the closer situation is a mystery. Yeah, they do have some injuries. They do have guys hurt. It's a thing. Chapman, he probably wouldn't have been there anyways, but if he's down there, you just never know. But he decided not to come to the last team workout, so it's kind of a situation where I think that maybe if he's there, he's a gun that they might have been able to use, but they're stretched so thin. One thing that that Boone does a lot is he manages for tomorrow a lot. And that works in the regular season a lot. That's why he has so many 100-win seasons. Like, he can manage for tomorrow. But during the playoffs, you have to win today. You have to win every game. It's so important to get your series done quickly and efficiently, because then you can have some rest days. Now, if the Yankees do somehow pull this off, they won't have any rest days. It's going to be tough moving forward into the ALCS versus the Houston Astros, and that's why Cleveland's going to go for it tonight, and they'll pull all the stops. You won't. I don't think you'll see Terry Francona making a bunch of changes. He'll have a game plan, but yeah, let's finish this off today, because we don't want to have to go back to Bronx. We want to get this done. So everything that can possibly be done to win a game, they're going to do today. And I really believe that Francona is going to outmanage Boone a little bit in this situation, because they don't want to go to the Bronx. They don't want to have a one-game winner take all when they can get it done in front of their home crowd at Progressive Field. The Yankees only managed a total of 5 hits last night, compared to the 15 that Cleveland got. That's troubling to me. And then out of your 5 hits, 3 of them were home runs. You had Judge, Bader, and Cabrera each hitting home runs. The Judge one was a bomb. I kind of liked the difference in the 2 home run dances. Bader, he put his head down and ran, whereas Cabrera, he kind of did the dance and the bat flip, the whole bit. If anybody watched the Saturday Night Live from last weekend, and they're talking about players from Dominican, how they act when they play baseball, it's quite funny. And how it's like North America, United States and Canada, they're a lot more serious about how the game's played and they play the game the right way, whereas Dominican players, they have a dance and swagger to them. So if you get a chance to watch that Saturday Night Live, maybe I'll find it. I'll put it up on our Twitter account. But it was really fun to watch Cabrera hit that home run and dance around the bases. But it's odd to me how they don't go down back to that, what was it, Mariano Duncan from 1996 when he said, we play today, we win today, that's it. You can't worry about tomorrow, and Boone worries about tomorrow way too much. He tries to manage his bullpen for what might happen instead of what is going to happen. I get it that you need to save arms, you have to have arms, but if you don't win today, you can't play tomorrow. And so there's no reason to be holding guys around. For Boone to say something that he didn't want to use Holmes on back-to-back days, well, that's the perfect time to use a guy on back-to-back days, because you need to win all the games in the playoffs. You worry about tomorrow. I mean, that's a different mentality than the regular season, but to say to not use Holmes, and I saw that Severino and Holmes kind of threw Boone under the bus. Holmes said, I was ready to go. I'm surprised I didn't get called in to go out there. And Schmidt was, Schmidt's all right, but obviously proved last night he wasn't. Holmes should have been the guy in the game last night. Could you imagine 20 years ago? Because it's been a long time, Yankee fans, since Joe Torre. 96 is 26 years ago. It's not like it's 6 years ago. We like, I still got the core four behind me here at the Yankee Tavern North, and we talk about the old days. The old days are a long time ago, and so these new Yankee fans who probably don't even remember, like some of those guys you watch on TV having a good time here, there, and everywhere around the 161st and River, they probably don't even remember half of these guys. So it's kind of a thing. Could you imagine 20 some years ago if Joe Torre would have said, yeah, I'm not going to use Mariano on back-to-back nights in front of the New York media? He would have got persecuted and destroyed. For Torre seemed to make the right. Yes, he probably had a stronger bullpen, didn't have this, didn't have that. But for Boone to go out and make that statement, he's not going to use a guy in back-to-back nights in the playoffs after they just had a rest and the like. They didn't play for a lot of days in a row. You need, so if you got Holmes going tonight, is he not going to pitch tomorrow? So like, what's the game plan here? Make these guys pitch. If they get hurt, oh well, man. Oh well. Next year, who cares? Prospects and all that is cool, but you know what's cooler? Championships. Go out and win championships. Worry about the game you're playing in front of you. Do not worry about the other stuff. And that's what Boone seems to do a ton, and it's frustrating as hell to me. I do not understand why he is so hell-bent on doing that. The way they lost last night was quite gut-wrenching. As a Yankee fan, I was sitting down here. You kind of thought they had the game in control, but then it seemed like it was just getting away from them as it was going on. They were always half a second away from disaster, and the way Cleveland can put guys on base so often, it was always right there. And then because Mariano ain't coming through that gate, it just, you always had that feeling that it wasn't going to go well. And with 15 hits through the 9 innings of play, they do that. Cleveland does that well, and they run the bases well, and they move up the bases well when they have opportunities. They take advantage of the other team's mistakes. And the thing about Cleveland that I really like is that they're too young and stupid to know any better. So they're not listening to anything else. They're just going out and having a good time and playing. Most of them weren't in the big leagues in August. A lot of these guys are just fringe players that probably shouldn't even be in the big leagues if it were in other franchises. But they have pitching that pitches well. They have a bullpen that pitches well. 5 hits by the vaunted New York Yankees is phenomenal, and 3 more home runs. The Yankees need to find a way to hit the ball and get on base. Last night, I could not believe for the life of me. You have Judge moving down the order. I would have put him at 3. Let the other guys, waste some pitches. You wear the guy down a little bit. So when Judge gets up, they're already in the 16th, 17th pitch of Judge's at-bats in the first inning. No, Gleyber Torres, first pitch of the game, bounces one to shortstop, he's out. So it really didn't change anything in the approach that Judge was getting to be the leadoff guy. It was a selfish, ridiculous, stupid play by Torres to be a leadoff hitter. Whatever happened to seeing some Ricky Henderson at bats and getting on base? I do not understand this mentality of not getting on base that these leadoff guys got. I will never, ever understand why Gleyber Torres swung at that first pitch last night, why there wasn't some kind of game plan in his at bat before he went up to the plate. Make these guys throw a little bit, bounce it out, and then so Judge is this right there anyways. So nothing changed. So just have Judge hitting at first. And anyways, I thought it was a selfish, stupid at-bat by Torres that kind of set the pace for that first inning. I didn't like it at all. I thought it was ridiculous. I don't know. Going to get on to something else here before I get onto the rest of that game and some of what people think is going to happen. Some people on Twitter answer me today. Bob Costas needs to shut up. like this history lesson, every pitch of every inning and blah, blah, blah. It's nonstop. He's talking about things while the play is happening. In Cabrera's home run last night, he was talking, I think it was about Satchel Paige, I think, last night, which is a huge part of the game. And I'm a baseball historian, but he doesn't stop talking about the past. The past of baseball history is a thing. But take a page out of Vince Scully's book, how Scully could find a way to, like, during mid-pitch, when the ball's hit and the ball's in play, he wasn't talking about God knows what. And Costas was doing that nonstop. And Darling, get a personality, man. You are awful. Maybe I'm just spoiled. Maybe I'm just a little revved up about the game last night and then what the game tonight. But like those two in the booth are terrible. Maybe I'm spoiled with Michael Kay and you get David Cohn and Paul O'Neill in the booth who seem to be having a good time. They're knowledgeable about today's game. They bring in stuff from the past. And yes, I'm a Yankee hugger and the whole bit. But those two, Darling and Costas, are atrocious. They're absolutely atrocious. And I just don't understand it. Yes, Costas has this resume and repertoire, and he's one of the all-time greats. But man, put him to pasture. He was terrible. Anyways, Yankees have they're in tough right now. Garrett Cole has to have the game of his life for the Yankees. This is why he was brought in. This is why he was given the $300 million contract. It's for games like this. And he might have 2 or 3 more in these playoffs if they can survive tonight. He's got to go out. He's got to give him length. He has to get into the 7th. He had a great start in game 1. He can't give up that early home run. He can't give up base runners early because Cleveland will nickel and dime you to death. He has to go out and shut these guys down early and often and get out of innings, give his offense a chance to put up some runs, which I think that they might be able to do, but they have to start slapping the ball around, playing a little bit of small ball and doing something that's going to help their team and help their team win, and not just the home runs and all the rest. Home runs are great, and I get it. But if you watch the Padres game last night, if you watch the Indians game last night, I finally said it, the Guardians game last night and the Phillies game like yesterday, yes, they were hitting some home runs, but they're slapping the ball around, getting base hits, getting doubles, putting the ball in play. If you're constantly striking out and like, why Stanton doesn't swing the bat? He just stands there, and it's like, okay, strike 3, I'm out, and he just basically walks back to the dugout. And yeah, he does hit some timely home runs, but he's hitting 220, and half his hits are home runs. Boone has said in the past, I'm kind of bouncing around here a little bit, but Boone said in the past that they go for the home run because the analytics say it's harder to get this amount of base hits in a row and everything else. But you know what's hard to do? Hit home runs. If you get base hits and base hitter to death and base hitter to death, you wear the pitcher down more. You're getting guys on base that confuses the pitcher, gets them out of their rhythm, slows the game down a little bit, and the like. Base hits will always win ball games, and the Yankees have to change their approach this offseason. I think you're going to see that a lot with the banning of the shift and everything else, how that's going to change the way the game's played a little bit. I do not like the way that the Yankees approach is in this offseason. If Cashman survives and if Boone survives, and if they lose tonight, Boone's done. And I'm a Boone guy. If they lose tonight, I think Boone is gone. That's my opinion. I think it's like that mistake last night. Yes, it's not on him. I don't think. I think that there's a binder that happens, that they follow this game plan, do this, and there's an agreed upon script prior to. But anyways, I just think that Boone, if they lose tonight, Boone's gone. Okay, if he loses tomorrow, maybe not. Lose tonight, gone. And it's crazy how that works. Cashman, he's a Steinbrenner. He'll be a Yankee for life. He'll have that job as long as he wants. They're not going to get rid of him. They're still packing the place. They're still doing it nice. When do Yankee fans turn their back, though? Never, right? 161st and Rivers going to be nuts. Anyways, put the question on Twitter, people, what they thought what was going to happen tonight. Average Joe, these are the games the Yankees paid Cole to win, regardless of the Boone fuck ups. There's the first swear word of the game. So Average Joe, big Yankee fan. He's I love having him listen to his show. He's got a great podcast. Make sure you listen to him for sure. Mark at Hammer to Fall _ Yanks will win. Number 28 still happening. So he's got big hopes that it's going to happen no matter what. It's crazy that the Yankee fans can think this still is going to happen. Another guy that's got really high hopes that kind of made me chuckle the way he worded it. Earl to Pearl, Yankee fan Earl, at Yankee fan Earl. There's no bullpen. There's no bench. Hicks, Martin, our roster filler there for emergency injuries. LaCastro only steal a bag. Carp to possibly take one at bat. We have a third baseman playing shortstop, a second baseman playing left field. Poorly constructed, poorly managed, poorly coached, but he still says, and I love him for this, Earl to Pearl, Yankee fan Earl, Yanks in 5. It's funny how the Yankee fans can just be on and on and on. I got a couple more here that made me laugh. Ryan McCarthy, at who is Ryan McSee. Boone is not a good manager. Let your pitchers pitch. Stop relying on home runs, your primary source for runs. I said the exact same thing, Ryan. I hope you listen to the show. Hope you like the show. We'll get you on. Maybe we'll get you on someday and we'll have a good chuckle about all this. It's astonishing that the way the Yankee fans can go from one extreme to the other. The Neighborhood Podcast, Aaron Boone is an asshat and our bullpen is a joke. It's not good. It's not good. It's not a good sign. I'm going to delay giving you my prediction till about 2 hours before game time. I'll do a little video and we'll do a little bit of a roll call, see if we can't get a little bit more interaction with some fans before the game gets going tonight, and maybe do a Yankee Twitter thing probably like about 2 hours before the game. I'm down the Yankee Tavern North here in Lethbridge, Alberta, enjoying might be the last day of Yankee baseball, and I'm going to soak it all in and maybe watch some old videos and reminisce about the old times, and maybe pray for some good times to come. Football's on the whole bit. One thing I want to touch on before we get going here. Anyways, go Yankees. Very excited still about what could still happen. Chase for 28 is still on, but we'll give you my prediction later on. Tough game last night, like I said, but just bear with them. They got to just maybe take a page out of Cleveland's book and do the same thing and not worry so much about the home run. IKF's got to be better at shortstop, and if there's any trouble, put someone else in there. IKF, if somebody knows him in the Yankee organization, please give him a pat in the back and high fives and bum slaps for IKF to go out and have a better game this afternoon or tonight, because we need it. We need a shortstop to come up big like the captain and Didi used to in these situations. Man, I love Didi. I'm glad he's not there anymore because his career went down pretty quick. But I love Didi. He was the perfect replacement for Jeter back in the day. So Didi, wherever you are, I hope you're enjoying life, which I'm sure you are. Anyways, Yankee fans, I hope they win. But before we get going here tonight, I want to say congratulations to the San Diego Padres for slaying the dragon that is the Los Angeles Dodgers. I'm a Dodger guy myself. I have a little Dodger section down here at the Yankee Tavern North. But congratulations. It was great to see the fan base having such a good time late last night. It was a fun atmosphere. The way they came back, the Friar, whatever his name, out in the stands having a good time. Their mascot is fantastic. The place was electric. The way they just small balled the heck out of the Dodgers in the seventh inning there, smacking the ball around, playing the game, advancing runners, doing the whole thing, and the Dodgers just didn't have an answer for him. There's no defense to a base hit, kids. There's no defense to a base hit. And last night, the Cleveland Guardians and the San Diego Padres, they showed that 100%. They finally did it. They're going to the NLCS for the first time since '98, I believe, when they ended up losing to the Yankees in 4 games in the World Series. But the pitch was still a strike to Tino. The pitch before that, it was a strike. He should have been out from. It was a strike. But we won't dwell on that. Congratulations to Padres fans. I think that's the last time we're going to see Clayton Kershaw and Dave Roberts in a Dodgers uniform. I think Kershaw probably had a belly full. It's maybe time to go. He's still effective, but eventually, you know what? Why not go out on a high note? Didn't get the World Series rings he wanted, but man, you get 111 wins or whatever they had. Are they going to be able to do that? Put that kind of team together again next year? Who knows? And one thing that was really noticeable last night, and we'll end this show right away here, was how much fun I thought that the San Diego Padres were having last night, and how they're doing this in spite of not having one of their superstars, not having Tatis Jr. there. That team really came together after the Tatis Jr. suspension, and they seem to really like each other. Soto, that trade is paying dividends for him. Man, I like the way that guy plays. He plays hard. He has a good time. He was dancing all night long. Nobody takes a ball 3 quite like him when he's up to bat. He's a hell of a player. He's going to make a lot of money someday. But yeah, I like the way the Padres are playing. They might be to see what happens tonight, but they might be who I'm cheering for in the next series. I know I won't be cheering for the no good cheating Astros, but congratulations to the San Diego Padres. their fan base and those beautiful brown and brown pinstripe uniforms with the gray are going to survive another day. So it was fun to see those guys late last night pull that off. It was a great series. Congratulations to them. I really, really enjoy that. One of the best ball fields I've ever been to, Petco Park. It's fantastic. I've been there. I loved it. I had a great time. The one time I went there back in 2000. Oh, I don't even know what year it was. It's been a while, but I got to get back there again. Have a little tour planned for next year or so to maybe see some more ballparks if 14-20 land goes on. Anyways, congratulations once again. Go Yankees, go tonight. Remember, we have a new sponsor, Plate Crate. It's a baseball baseball player, inspiring every baseball player, young and old, with baseball's #1 subscription box. Use promo code FASTBALL20. That's 20% off your first order at platecrate.com. They have tons of good stuff, tons of great training materials, apparel, sunflower seeds, the whole bit for every baseball player. They have stuff for parents. They have stuff for coaches. They have things for everybody in the game of baseball. It's a full-time, it's a full season thing. Anyways, I'm getting a little excited now. Go Yankees, go. Pull it off tonight, Cole. We need you big. Let's get a big win tonight and take her back to the Bronx and win it in 5. I said Yankees in 5 when I first did my predictions. But before we go later on tonight, we'll get talking. I'll get this show out to Jim. Jim had a song on the radio yesterday. Congratulations, Jimmy Valentine. Get that thing out there. Jimmy Valentine his album Poser is out there. His EP. Have a listen to that. It's on Spotify. But anyways, starting to ramble here. Go Yankees, go. And remember Aaron Boone. Smart people bunt.
Thank you for listening to this Belly Up Sports Podcast Network product. Some said we go belly up, so we made it our name, and we're still here.